Okay.
Well,
Nikki, do you remember what are the three C's on Coliving? That you come to different classes. So I'm going to help you a little bit. So I don't want to put you on the spot about that. So if you really want to have a good, co-living is also a business, right? In many different ways because it's your investment. And you cannot blame or you cannot default your investment into third parties. Oh, it's the city. Oh, it's the zoning. Oh, it's the people. Oh, it's the renters. You know what? Don't do any of that because that speaks not really good about you as an investor, as a real estate investor. So co-living to be successful always has the three C's. What are those three C's? Are cost, are community, and inconvenience. More and more and more, and I'll share. I'm gonna do a recording about later. More and more and more. The data indicates that when you offer community and community features to in your co-living properties, tenants elongate tenure, meaning they stay longer, meaning it's lower cost for you and you have a smooth growing co-living investment. Okay, convenience meaning not only location but the assets on the house, all the features of the property or your co-living space are there to make the life of the people better. I have one friend of mine that at least until recently, give all the residents a gym membership in the one that is $10. I forgot the name of that one. What is the name of that gym that is $10? The purple one. Uh, anyway, if you remember the name of the member of that gym that is $10, type it in the comments because I forgot. But that's what they do, you know, make convenience for your residents so they stay. So and cost, meaning not only the cost. Yes, Planet Fitness. Thank you. So I have one host. He has a lot, and he gives to the residents a membership to Planet Fitness when they join the property. So it's like, what? That's convenience, and it's only $10. So take my money, no? And make life better for them as well. So that's when you know how to be creative to have your people or your residents full in your houses full. So it's very, very, there are many ways to bring convenience to properties. And cost is the second or third part that we're going to talk about today. Because every state, every even county, every state, every city has different financial dynamics. Oh, yeah, thank you for my memories. A little further up. Different financial dynamics. And given that, you cannot expect different rents or same rents in different states. What we charge in Massachusetts is not the same that we charge in New Hampshire or in Atlanta or any other state in the county. There's many factors are here at play. Okay, so finally, we put all the pieces together for Pathcliff to open in New Hampshire. We see a lot of demand in New Hampshire, and I'm gonna explain you why. Very, very simple. Nelson, you mind going to the first slide? Thank you. Okay. And Evan, correct me if I'm wrong, and please, raise your hand every time you have a question. We can go all this at the end. Is that New Hampshire has still a minimum wage of $7.25, right? And the average price or a two-bedroom apartment in New Hampshire, pretty much everywhere across the state, is about $1,800. Is that data correct? Aaron, you can, thumbs up or thumbs down, but that's the data that we have, and it's very correct data because we have it from the U.S. Census. Go ahead. You were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that sounds about right to me. Yep.
Yeah. And the median rent that people can afford is a little under $1,500, $1,500. So what does that mean? It means that if you make minimum wage, and there are a lot of people that make minimum wage in New Hampshire, they need to work almost 4 full-time jobs to be able to pay a market rent of or a two-bedroom. Isn't that wild? If the rent of a two-bedroom is $1,800, how do they live making minimum wage to be able to afford a two-bedroom apartment? And how does that rent payment impacts the other areas of their life? Food, transportation, healthcare, the choices that they make, they're cash constrained, and it's a large population as well. So New Hampshire has more than 150,000 people in the state that are renters. That's a big population. And when you look at the census, and you look at the data, 26 of the top 30 occupations in New Hampshire make minimum wage and cannot afford the two-bedroom apartment. Only you're a software developer, only you're a manager, only you're a nurse or an accountant or have a profession, the higher profession, you can earn enough. Everybody else categorizes in this bucket. So you have to be either in a family circle or have rent and constraints. And then you see that, and most people not gonna like what I'm gonna say, is then you see that factor into the city and the quality of life that people have in New Hampshire. You see poverty, you see drug use, you see all the factors of that inequality in the state of New Hampshire. When you drive around, you see areas that are not great. All that is because of this crazy problem of housing that we have. It's a nationwide crisis, and that is where you as a co-living operator might have an opportunity to help and might have an opportunity to do well. And that's the next slide. So first, what is New Hampshire? I assume everybody know why co-living, but why New Hampshire? So New Hampshire first does not have a state income tax or sales tax. So as an investor, it's great for investors. And I didn't know this, but it makes all sense to me that Manchester was the #1 hottest housing market in 2024. And let me tell you something, I didn't notice, but do you know that Manchester, New Hampshire has almost 50% of the population are renters? 50% in whole Manchester. Is like, wow, incredible. Nelson, and we stop screen sharing. Okay. We have the demand for housing in New Hampshire is 60,000 units by the next 4 years, and 85 communities with workforce housing ordinances, meaning there are 85 communities within New Hampshire that are inviting workforce housing to come. That is great. And there is a lot of wealth creation being created or being done in New Hampshire. And the unemployment is below national average as of now, 3.7%. And the metro GDP or gross per person is 36.6 billion. So next, let me show you a couple more data points here. Thank you. Given what tenants can afford, right? And we're thinking based on the comps and based on what we see and what they make, a traditional 4-bedroom, right, is let's say 4-bedroom, if 1 bedroom is 1,800, 4-bedroom is 2,500. That is hard to afford for so many of them. If you just lease by the room, right, and the room is $800, the revenue versus revenue, so it's 3,200, right, versus so baseline of 600 more per room, so premium 27. If you grow and you offer more convenience, more location, more amenities, more everything, and you do 950, then you make 1,000, 1,200 more, right? So a premium almost of 50%. If you have 5 rooms, for example, because depends on the area, depends on the county, you can change the amount of people that are unrelated that live together. It's co-living past. If you have 5 rooms in 950, that's 4,750. That's more than 2,000 per unit, so 88%. And if you happen to have, let's say, a house or a different dwelling, and you have 6 rooms at 950, so that's 5,700. That's 3,000. That's double, 126% in premium versus a traditional rental. And even if you do, 6 bedrooms at 900, you're going to have a really, really nice premium because that's the rent that a lot of people in New Hampshire can afford, correct? So the tenant saves a lot of money compared to what the regular market is, right? And you as a resident make between 50 and 125% premium. So what's not to like, but you need to do many things beforehand, all right? You need to know where to go, how to offer, be prepared, right? That's always what I say. And this is the cap rate arbitrage, meaning I'm talking here about growth. I'm not talking here about new construction. I'm talking about creating a space that is great for your residents and creating a space that is growing and repetitive and that you provide good services for them to have a business that can grow. And it's very important that we can do that later. Hold on. Thank you, Rose. Next time you raise your hand. So let's go to the next slide. So the affordability gap. We're showing what can people in the high metro family areas, so in Boston, Cambridge, does the rent, even like for a studio, is less than $2,000 minimum. Like affordability is terrible. Lawrence is also very bad. Rockingham County is really bad. Manchester is really bad. Nashua and Portsmouth, Rochester is a little less, but those areas are mostly where people cannot pay the difference between they make and what they actually can afford. So again, if you offer a product that is under those metrics, you're gonna do really well. And let me show you the next slide. It's very important. And you're gonna see it today, and you're not allowed to record, but you're gonna allowed to take notes, especially you, Evan, and Roy, and Ike. And I don't know, Stephanie, where you're based, but okay. These are the zip codes. And take notes if you like, because I'm gonna deep down into zip codes in person in March 1st in the Passplit event. But this is just for you to know. All right. So first, where to invest? Number one, Manchester, downtown Manchester. Why Manchester downtown? First, 41% rental rate. So I promise more than that. It's a very walkable city, full of young professionals. Oh, fantastic. Yes, Stephanie, you're gonna love it here. Young professionals, highest rental density in New Hampshire. The median home price, Roy's answer, is 370,000. But guess what? What is going on in Manchester too? We have the universities, we have a lot of technology companies with operations there. So it's becoming a hub for people to live and stay. But there is not a lot of quality rentals over there. So the opportunity to have quality rentals and quality co-living in New Hampshire is really, really prime, because it's one of the few cities that has so much percentage of rental rate. So to me, investor paradise, if you know what you're doing. I'm going to be very clear, if you know what you're doing. Okay. The second one is also in Manchester, but in the west side. Okay. The zip code is 03102. And the large age cohort is really, demographic size is really big, right? A lot of single population and a lot of high college attendance, affordable entry. And again, the entry house, our average house is 364,000 for median, but then you can do multifamily, you can do many things. Depends how you do it, all right? And again, be mindful of that. The third one, and Manchester again, 41% rental rate is just, renter paradise and investor paradise if you have a good product. And now you have the support of Passplit going there. Number three is downtown Nashua. Why? Not only is the second largest city, right? It's very near to Massachusetts. I used to live 10 minutes from the border from Nashua. No, from not downtown, but like from New Hampshire. And everything is in there. And again, a lot of people just drive there there is no tax. So you move it to New Hampshire and you work in Massachusetts, people live there because no income tax. And a lot of adults, a lot of large single adult population. Demographics are diverse, but then median home price start to go in the 400s, all right? Fourth one, this is a little more harder more harder to enter. It's a lower density, but the market is just phenomenal there. In fact, one of the first co-living buildings have been approved in Portsmouth by a local developer. And it's Portsmouth, New Hampshire. It's by the ocean. It's seacoast. It's full of young professionals. It's really, really beautiful. The two-bedroom price is about $1,900. Yes. There is a lot of tourism and workforce. But the challenge here, in my opinion, is to find the right property to work. Find the right property because you have a premium, so you need to make sure that you find properties that are value add to defend your co-living thesis to make the numbers work, right? And last but not least, also the north of Manchester, so 03104. Again, for the single adult population, right? The large single family population, the lower entry for single family homes. So this and that's just the median size, not the under market price. And it's very close to the hospitals there and the employers, which again it goes in the sea of cost. In location, cost, and convenience. It's part of all the convenience package. Do we have questions here for now, before I move? You can raise your hand if you have a question. No? Okay,
I have a question actually about.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
My impression of Portsmouth, the market there, is that prices are extremely high, like in the actual city itself. Maybe it's different you mentioned like Rochester and some of the surrounding towns might be different. but my understanding is Portsmouth is almost like Boston in terms of the prices.
Yeah, you're right.
And so, like, how do you think people are finding cash flow in that market? Is it like they find a distressed property and they fix it up and it's a value
Yeah.
add?
The same way they do it here in Boston, Evan, right? So, the resident of Manchester might be different from the resident of Portsmouth. So, in Portsmouth, I will not do a single family. I will do multifamily and a very value add multifamily that you can get at a discount or seller finance or any other way that you can optimize for co-living. Definitely has to be multifamily in Portsmouth, my opinion.
Got it. Yep, that makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, of course. Ike, you said you had a question.
Yes, I think the previous slide or about something about affordability.
Mm-hmm.
When you get it, well, at the end, maybe you can go back. I need some more explanation on that, and also on this particular slide where it says 40, like the top one. What do you mean by 41% renter rates
That
on the
means
40?
that between that means in the whole city of Manchester, New Hampshire, 41% of the people pay rent. They're not homeowners.
Oh, okay, all right,
Make sense?
all right.
All
Yeah, yeah,
right.
it sure does. And then at the end, if you can go back maybe two slides, and then I can.
No, I'll show you. I think the resume on the next slide is gonna help you even more. One, two, three.
Okay.
Nelson, go ahead. Thank you for your help today, man. What do I do without you? All right. So this is very clear, and I think it's gonna be clear for you now. Okay. So in Manchester, 41% of the people are renters, which is like, wow, it's one of the biggest one I see. The average on every zip code and town that I see for renters is like around the 30% mark. The average price for a two-bedroom is around $1,900. And people make $7 as minimum wage, right? So the difference between what they make in minimum wage versus the price of a two-bedroom apartment, the difference is about almost $500 a month. So therefore, there is an affordability gap between what they make. So they need to be making almost $40 an hour just to afford the two-bedroom apartment. Because remember the 30% rule that a lot of how landlords and agencies and everybody uses. So so based on the $7 minimum wage, they need to work 5 minimum wage jobs to be able to afford this two-bedroom apartment. Make sense now? And if they want to buy a house, the average median home price in Manchester is $371,000. So when are they going to afford a home? In this case, making $7 an hour, right? That's why when you have a co-living product between the 800s and 900s, and even less or even more, depends, what you have in type of product, you will do very well because that's the demand. Is this clear? I think
Yes.
it is. Okay, great. Okay.
Thank you.
It's crazy, and it's crazy that we do nothing that while while the housing crisis continue, there is nothing or very little to be done, especially in these states, to change the minimum wage so people can have a better quality of living, right? So that's why some states, and that's why sometimes very respectfully, I kind of laugh between, oh, I only want to invest in real estate. Are you serious? Then, like, what are you doing? Because at the end, anyway, I did to me that's one of the biggest misconceptions of in real estate investment and real estate rentals, because you're really not helping if you only help certain part and not help the whole. We have this. I live in a blue state. My residents pay between $750 and $1,800 for a room, right? And they're really highly qualified people. When you have people that only make $7, no matter how hard they try, no matter how much they can, and they're constrained by the price of housing, and there is no official formal co-living developers operating in New Hampshire, I think it's a big opportunity for many of you when you want to start the process over there. To help, not only to help, but like to help and expand and have really an impact in the housing market over there. Next slide. Okay. I hope this helps. Evan for you, I for you, Roy maybe for you. I don't know where you're based. this is the list of people, or one of the, in the top 30 jobs in New Hampshire. This is the top list of people, the top demand that we had for co-living. All right. And it's not that we have unemployment. There is plenty of employment, but the median wage is not there to meet that demand. Okay. So if you work in retail in one of the malls or anywhere, there's 1,000 to 20,000 people doing retail, and they can afford $900. They cannot afford $1,800. Okay. If you're a cashier in any market, supermarket, anywhere, then almost another 20,000, they can afford even less, right? Because the median wage is $15 per hour, so $800. If you're a nursing assistant, you might think, oh, nursing assistant, that's good. Well, not that much. It's $22 per hour. That's $1,100 a month, right? Fast food workers, we love food, and when you create, don't get that service well, don't tip well, and then you get $14 per hour, $700 is what they can afford, right? So, and what I have in last column is the monthly gap between that and the cost of an apartment, right? So, and people that help in home health aides that we all desperately need. Janitors and cleaners, everybody needs. Well, it's a needed work. Customer service people, and not people that work in the office environment. They are the ones that can afford a little more. Here, we're talking about $1,200 that can afford, still under the price of a studio. Okay, very much almost on the price of a studio. And it's a workforce. It's not that they are not unemployed, not enough money, just the market is not there to satisfy this demand. What do you think about this? This is like wild, no? Like, wow, this is a lot of people, and we know where they live, we know where they work, and we know how to find them when you do your numbers correct. Am I right? So to finalize before wrap this, and before any, so, and this demand does not finish. Even if you're a young professional and if you're finishing college, if you do an internship and you don't want to go to your house again, or you have your first professional job, your salary is still not there. So the demand, this is just the beginning of the big demand, a big wave of people in New Hampshire that are just your market for co-living. So I'm gonna leave with a couple of takeaways for today. And thank you for letting me practice my my pitch for the casino. Nelson, last one. Okay, thank you, Nikki. Why is this good? Why is this good? Number one, in New Hampshire, there's a lot, and you can go ahead and do your own work in every zip code. There are 85 communities that have ordinances for workforce housing. So it depends how you create your housing community, your co-living community. You have a lot of advantage because there are communities already pre-approved for this, right? Zoning is being challenged in many ways, and the thing of 3 or more foreign related people cannot live together, or more. The top is 4 is being challenged. There are 59 liberalizing zoning ordinances. I know it was approved in Portsmouth. I don't know the other towns, but we can review. Now, 129 municipalities in New Hampshire allow detached ADUs, so that is also great for you. And oh wow, and this is great. I need to look more into this. Manchester adopted missing middle housing reforms in 2025. What does that mean? That will show you we need more housing, and we need to look in how working with the city of Manchester, because remember what I say, when you don't work against the policy, don't work against the rule, work with the rules. So you ensure your investment is sound, right? Again, you don't have a state income tax, you don't have a state sales tax, and you have really opportunity not only to work with the state, but also with every district for housing development. And oh, Evan, this is interesting. There is a new tax relief for rehabilitation of underutilized buildings. I was going to show you, but I cannot do today, that if you convert, for example, if you convert a former office building into housing, you get a lot of tax relief. So I can show you the company that is doing this in Canada. That is phenomenal. And you can take a great opportunity here. So again, there is not only we have, and honestly, I'm sorry for my disbelief, but I don't think respectfully that New Hampshire can produce 60,000 units in the next 4 years, okay? Yeah, correct. And I'll show you more because I invited that developer to the meeting in New Hampshire, but he has not responded to me. And I'm very bad at cold calling, so I'm not gonna cold call him. If you notice, developer, if you can invite, I'll be happy to. But look at this number. See, that's like drives me crazy. Only, so they say, okay, sure, we need 60,000 units. You know the amount of permits in 2023? Not even 5,000. And only 13% of buildable land is zoned for less than 1 acre lots. So where is the density? How are they going to do 60,000 units without their in-housing policy, without their in zoning, right? And housing is the number one voting concern in New Hampshire. Yeah, with all the reason, no? So I know I just get very passionate about these things because I really believe in affordable housing and accessible housing. And to close this presentation, go ahead, Nelson, last one. Why is this important for you and why are you here, right? Because you can get between 50 and 125% revenue premium, So, boo, there is no secret that Coliving solves the problem, but also is good for the developer. More than 100,000 people in the state is priced out of housing, and Coliving as a whole is a $40 billion market opportunity. But if you keep thinking about doing things the same way that people do, then nothing is going to change. You need to step out of your comfort zone, and Nikki knows how I do that in many exercises. Step out of your comfort zone, think outside the box, think differently to help solve the problem. The richest people, the most successful people don't copy formulas. They come with their own. Create your own box. Be able, and I don't know, Sheila, you can share a link about 15 minutes with me on the comments. I appreciate that. Or I don't know if I can do it. For what? If you want to explore this deeper, meaning, or especially you want to be more prepared for the New Hampshire presentation, because we're going to have what? We're going to have the president of pass split in New Hampshire, right? We're going to have not only the president of pass split, we're going to have also Justin, I'm very bad at pronouncing his name, talking about how he has been able to have so many converted multifamily properties into co-living in New Hampshire. That's where he goes. So to listen to his experience is going to be very interesting. And we have Celeste Salmon, which work with a lot of nonprofits over there to have also co-living opportunities. So you're going to learn pretty much from people that are on the ground doing things right. And thank you, Chila. Love it. So if you're ready, especially you're thinking about it seriously, not just learning, but you're thinking about it seriously. Book 15 minutes with me. I'll help you create a clarity session to see how far you can go in 2026. That's what I do with all my students. And even when we have a student-coaching relationship, it's fine. I'm happy to give you 15 minutes. We can poke our brains. I enjoy that a lot. Again, my name is Clara. I've been doing this. Thank you, Chile. I've been doing this Coliving for more than 10 years. I'm one of the OGs in Coliving, as one of my grand from the Coliving conference called me OG. I have analyzed well over 500 properties in my career, way more than that. And advised more than $80 million portfolio. I think that number is over 100. And I do believe that co-living is the way to go for everywhere. And I thank you all for coming. And now I want to know, before we wrap up the session of today, if you have any questions.
I got a question.
Hi, Ike. Yeah, sure.
Hi. I appreciate all the metrics that you do for us on these different areas of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And but one thing I want to ask is there any place in this country where there isn't a need for co-living other than Beverly Hills? I mean,
Even in Beverly Hills, co-living. I think there is like
I
maybe
mean,
one state. Let me check.
'cause
Maybe
I
the desert in Arizona, something like that. Seriously.
because I'm assuming that most people will be priced out with today's rents. Even if you're making $60,000, $70,000 a year, if you have to come up with a rent of $3,000, $4,000 a month,
Yeah.
which is probably the average rents in areas like Boston and maybe not down south, but say up north, and that most middle class income owners won't be able to they'll be priced out also is what I'm trying to say. So besides Beverly
So
Hills and rich parts of the
no,
country,
but not even in Beverly Hills. So because we're talking always especially in this opportunity, we're talking about co-living, and I'm very, very clear about this. We're talking about co-living as affordable rental housing or accessible rental housing, not luxury rental. There's plenty of luxury co-living rentals, plenty of luxury or middle-class co-living, even though. So they're oversupplied, but there are so many. For example, Boston was completely oversupplied with luxury units that are completely vacant, or I use like a tax haven for internationals. But there is not a whole state in this country that has supply for affordable housing or affordable rentals for people with low income. Based on what they say, there is not a single state. There are states that have less than other, like North Dakota, South Dakota, but they don't have because there is no people living there. Wyoming have a little bit, Maine, because no one live in Maine. Vermont has more than 45. Oh no, it's all the opposite. Yeah, there is just not supply. I mean, I'm looking at the data. No, and once, so here's a surprise for you. My co-living calculator is gonna come to market really soon, and then you can play with all the data, and you're gonna be really surprised what you're gonna find when you do your co-living, when you're working in a co-living investment. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Nikki. You have seen that in advance. Cities are oversupplied, but those supplies are for example, Boston was oversupplied with luxury, and many of those are like placed for larger developers that sometimes don't pay out. And those, when you have oversupply, like what happened in the city of Austin, Texas, they were forced to lower the rent. And now Austin, Texas is one of the most affordable, #affordable cities in Texas. But that trend, takes years to have enough supply, to build enough supply. They, they're gonna build so-and-so plants in Austin, and they build more supply than demand, and the rents go down. In the hours for rent go down, you need more supply. We just don't have supply. And we don't have, based on the cost of, in the construction cost, and cost of the land, or many other, and the tariffs, and all these, all these fake impositions, all this, it make a constraint for you to have supply. You can be creative how to create supply. There are many ways to create supply. New construction, I met someone that was doing 3D printing. I'm like obsessed with the 3D printing thing now. But you need to be creative and think how can really have an impact, and think long term. If you're serious about this, like really serious, then book 15 minutes with me, and I'll walk you through a clarity session. And I'll happy to see you also all in New Hampshire in March 5th is in a casino. So we're gonna have like fantastic food, fantastic appetizers, fantastic presentation as well. And what else? Oh, next Friday. See, as you can see, these security settings, I think they're working. So we're gonna have Tina again do the whole presentation in a private setting. I'm not gonna even stream this in Facebook, at least next setting, for you guys to enjoy and learn more about. Thank you, Nikki. For you to find out all that is needed to know about private money lending. Aaron, let me see. I'll send you. It's in my Canva, but in the other slide. Let me see. I don't know. Let me see if I can show you. Or if Sheila, can you share the link with Eventbrite? Justin Tuminowski. Are you familiar with Justin Tuminowski in New Hampshire from the Subto community? He invented his own software for Subto properties, and he's one of the real estate investors that work in multifamily converted into co-living in New Hampshire, one of the few, really. And he's going to present there, and Celeste Salmonte, which is also one of the most popular persons. They're both in the higher ranks of the Subto community, and they're going to share all their experiences with us. Let me see. Okay, thank you, Sheila. So here's the link. It's free to go. I would say just grab your tickets, invite everybody, because we have about capability for like 60 people. Right now we have 20. And once Justin's announced that he's going, his Subto community is gonna go wild. So before he announces, I will say invite your own gang. All right. Do we have more questions or anything that you'd like to have addressed before we leave today?
Yeah, the event in New Hampshire, could you send us the information on that?
Yeah, it's on the chat already.
It's on the chat already?
Yeah, and I'll send an email with the instructions in a little bit. Okay?
And then did I just hear you say the guy, the sub two guy, Tanaski is gonna be
Yeah.
there also? You
Yeah.
said.
He's presenting with me. Yes.
Okay. And you said
Okay.
March 1st.
No, March 5th, Thursday night.
Oh, okay. All right.
Awesome. Good driving is going to be kind of early because, we have a crazy weather in Massachusetts, but we have weather is, cooperates for that time of the year. All right, everybody. Thank you for your patience. We never start, meetings late or things like that. We're just tampering with the settings on things to make sure that everybody is safe and we don't have more incidents or more hate incidents like the ones we have a week ago. I want my community and people that join my space, my work environment to be safe. All right. So thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I sincerely appreciate it. If you have more questions, just feel free to book the 15 minutes. If you don't, then I'll see you next Friday with Tina Boy. All right. Gracias. Thank you. Ciao.